Radio. We think it's important that we continue to spread the word about what's going on throughout our nation, how we can help fix our public education system, and spend our tax dollars a little bit more effectively and efficiently. And again, I'm not saying charter schools are perfect. But the great thing about the charter school movement is they kind of police their own. And in all honesty, it's like a business. If they're not doing a good job, guess what? The customers leave. Whereas in a regular public school system, I think you're all aware of, you're kind of assigned to school based on where you live. And if you don't want to go there, your only choice is to take more money out of your pockets than into a private school, or at least you have the option now of charter schools if you believe in their philosophy. A lot of parents, unfortunately, probably aren't always telling the truth, but they use a different address to get their kids in a local school that they know has a better reputation, and you can't blame them. Why should you be told that, we know that school is in school improvement. We know that school is doing a poor job with reading, writing, and math. But, we want you to attend there, so go there anyhow. So I don't blame parents for looking after the best interest of their sons and daughters. So we need to break up that system somehow, and gradually I think we're doing that with the school choice movement. But I want to get back to our guest, one of our sponsors here, Brad Chapin, and he's with Health Savings Associates, an insurance that services a lot of the schools and private sector. Brad, we were just talking a little bit about, I wanted to talk a little bit about, if you come into a school system where they have an older staff, does that affect how they look at their health care situation?
No, they're just going to save more money because that means their premiums are more because they've got older people. They're going to be paying more and they're going to save more. So it has no impact except for the school. They're just going to realize larger savings.
Right.
Because older people pay a lot more.
And then most of the school districts that you've dealt with that are going to this, how are they taking those savings? Are they passing that on in some form to the staff in a pay raise, or is it just helping them meet their budgets?
What they're able to do, Coach, what a district will do, so say your district, you give everybody a stipend, right? Does everybody get a stipend towards their benefits?
Yes.
If they don't use it, they don't get to keep the money, right? If they don't use it, it just retains with the school.
Correct.
So if you set up an HRA, instead of giving every teacher a stipend, the school controls all the money. There's no stipend. But you'd be able to give all the teachers a richer plan than they have right now. And they're going to, and when any of them that have, some of them, the stipend doesn't cover all their costs.
Right.
Usually none of them will have any money coming out of their paycheck. And they'll still have as rich or a richer plan. But the company controls this HRA account. And then you'll pay the premium and then you'll reimburse who needs it.
Right.
So when I come up, am I coming up next? There's no show next week, right, Coach?
Correct. Yeah, we'll be closed for 2 weeks, and then we'll be back on the 20th.
Okay, and then I'll come up to the next one. I'll come up to the studio.
Okay.
So I want to meet you and talk about all this stuff with you in person, and there's more things.
Yeah, I'd like to understand it and know a little bit more about it myself. And then the other question I had, obviously, there's been talk about this at the federal level. I know that President Bush was pushing the health savings accounts. What is it when it comes to health insurance that people just aren't getting? Because it makes sense to me to have the health saving, that I as a person should be able to put money aside of my own money that's tax-free in a health savings account.
It makes all the sense in the world, Coach. You're right. It makes a lot of sense.
Why is it such a resistance? Is it because of the companies that have such a...
I would say there's not a resistance. That wouldn't be the right word.
Okay.
The resistance.
Education.
There's a big education and knowledge process, and the problem is most of the broker community, they don't get it. They're not educated on that plan, Coach, because it's half the rate. So they're not pushing that plan because it cuts their commission in half. There's a few good brokers that get it, that are doing it, but for the most part, there's a lapse in education. And the knowledge process, when it's communicated over to the layperson, the average broker doesn't know how to communicate the message, and they don't try to sell that plan like it's a good option. Oh, you don't want that option, high deductible. But they don't talk about how the money you're going to save and you're going to reimburse the difference. So there's just a big lapse there.
And let's go in a little bit again, just to touch on it again. Then you may have some other things you want to talk about, but I wanted to, so that people can actually understand the reimbursement part of it. So let's just take our school, for instance, and let's just say I'm giving everybody $8,000 towards their benefit package.
Okay.
And obviously, if they have family members, it might cost them a little bit more out of their paychecks, right?
Probably a lot more if they got family.
Right, and then some people, because they're young, they may choose to opt out, and we give them a stipend or something like that. We don't just automatically do it. Where in our district schools, when I was there for 30 years, whether you already had insurance, say your husband had insurance, had a great plan, and you were on that with him, the district had an $11,000 plan that everybody got, and that you couldn't opt out. You just got it, whether you used it or not.
Crazy.
Which
it's crazy.
it is. It's absolutely ridiculous.
A couple thousand if they're going to go on another plan.
Yeah.
So
but you had no choice. You had to be in their plan.
Right. Well, that's because the people that are in charge of making those, they don't think sensibly.
Right.
To be honest, Coach, there's a lot of moronic people that are in charge of making decisions for school districts, the big public ones,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they're going broke. Like I said last week, General Motors went bankrupt for one reason, because they couldn't afford their health care anymore. That was the number one
benefits.
reason they went broke. The benefits.
Yep.
They gave all these people too rich benefits. The prices went up and the same thing's happening to the schools right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if they set up a health reimbursement arrangement, they'll reverse the trend back 10 years.
Okay, well let's take a individual person that normally you're getting $8,000 a year a benefit package, and that includes health and dental and vision.
Right.
All right, so they are now going to the doctor and they have a deductible of $500 and they pay that out of pocket.
Right.
Once they get over that, and let's just say they have to continue to go to the doctor, and now their next bill is $1,000. What you're saying to us is that they're going to get reimbursed for that $1,000. That's not going to come out of their pocket.
Right. They get reimbursed through the third party. There's a TPA, third party administrator, that administrates all this for like $5 a month an employee. And then when the employee sends their bill in, they're going to get a check back to reimburse them for that. And when they get that check back, that's not income to them. It's non-taxable. IRA, the HRA is Section 105 of the IRS code that allows you to reimburse medical expenses to your employees, and it's not income to them. So they're paying it for everything with tax-free dollars.
But if they had $1,000 more in expenses, and let's just say they were really hurting and didn't have the $1,000, they've got to put that $1,000 up, the insurance company, and you're not going to get reimbursed until you've paid it.
No, they do not have to put the money up. They'll get the EOB, the explanation of benefits from the insurance company. They fax it in to the administrator within 72 hours, so they don't have to pay the bill first out of their pocket.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify that. I thought that's the way it was.
They'll get a check right back to reimburse the bill.
We've got about 40 seconds left here.
And, Coach, when I sit down with you one day, the next time, you'll get it. You already get it, I can tell, but it'll make a lot more sense when I lay it out on paper.
Well, I'm trying to, the people listening, just to make sure that they're getting the same information. That's why I keep asking these questions. I just want to make sure that,
That's great questions, Coach.
Because sometimes it's hard when you're just listening to paint that picture.
It's hard. It's real hard. And if anybody wants to call me,
okay, give us a number.
Because it's free, 858-922-8828.
Say it one more time.
858-922-8828. They can talk to me for free, anything about health insurance, anytime they want. Questions, I'll answer them, whatever.
All right, I'll look forward to talking to you then on the 20th. And thanks for joining us again, Brad.
Hey, Coach, when you get a chance, call me tomorrow on this number. I need to talk to you.
All right, I will do that. Thank you. Once again, thank you for joining us here on Charter School Radio. You've been listening to Charter School Radio on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. And once again, go to our archives, listen to some of our other shows. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.